ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 7, Verse 45. निशम्य कर्तच्चम्बोर् देवदेवस्य मीढुषः प्रजा दाक्षायिणी ब्रह्मा वैकुण्ठश्च शशंसिरे. Upon hearing of this act, everyone, including Bhavani, the daughter of Maharaja Daksha, Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, and the people in general were highly praised, very highly praised this deed performed by Lord Shiva, who is worshipped by the demigods and who bestows the benedictions upon the people. So they all have very highly praised this deed of Lord Shiva. Okay. Praskannam pibatah paner yatkinchit jagruhu smatat वृश्चिकाहि विषौषध्यो दंडशुकाश्च ye pare. Scorpions, cobras, poisonous drugs, and other animals whose bites are poisonous took the opportunity to drink whatever little poison had fallen and scattered from Lord Shiva's hand while he was drinking. Mosquitoes, jackals, dogs, and other varieties of danda shuka, or animals whose bites are poisonous, drank the poison of the Samudra Manthan, the churned ocean, since it was available after it fell from the palms of Lord Shiva. So we can imagine hmm, the scorpions, etc. They can, or even snakes. Their poison is dangerous for human beings, and that is just a drop, or few drops that fell, little poison that had fallen. And so we can imagine how much powerful Lord Shiva is. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 8th canto, 7th chapter, entitled Lord Shiva Saves the Universe by Drinking Poison. Chapter 8, The Churning of the Milk Ocean. Shri Pite gare vrishankena प्रीतास्ते मरदानवाः ममन्तुस्तरसा सिन्धुम् avirdhani tato bhavat. Shukadeva Goswami continued. Upon Lord Shiva's drinking the poison, both the demigods and the demons, being very pleased, began to churn the ocean with a renewed vigor. As a result of this, there appeared a cow known as Surabhi. The Surabhi cow is described as Havirdhani, source of butter. Butter, when clarified by melting, produces ghee or clarified butter, which is inevitably necessary for performing great ritualistic sacrifices. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Yagna Dana Tapa Karma Natyajam Karyameva Tat. Yagna Dana Tapa, sacrifice, charity, and Tapa, austerity, are essential to keep human society perfect in peace and prosperity. And especially for Grihasthas, the Yagna Tapa is there for everybody. Dana, especially for Grihasthas. Yagna, the performance of sacrifice, is essential. To perform yagna, clarified butter is absolutely necessary. And to get clarified butter, milk is necessary. Milk is produced when there are sufficient cows. Therefore, in Bhagavad Gita, cow protection is recommended. Krishi Gauraksha Vanijam Vaishyakarma Swabhavajam. So, very important part of Vedic culture. Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha. So, Krishna is pleased when cows are protected. And yeah, the desi breeds have to be protected because they are most necessary because their milk is nectar. Of course, this Jersey mixed breed is unfortunately lost its potency. The milk has lost potency. So anyway, but still they're animals, so they can be protected. But more importantly, the desi cows have to be protected, and also, yeah, their numbers have to increase, and more people should get access to this milk, which today has become like a business, big, very exorbitant. Not everybody can afford it. But yeah, the more people engage in crop protection in the right direction, I think things will go in the right direction. So it's important part of um, Vaishya's job is to protect cow. So interestingly, Vaishya's job is to protect cows, and Kshatriya's job is to protect all jivas. Mm. But this Goraksha especially is for Vaishyas. ताम् अग्निहोत्रीं ऋषयो जघ्रुर्ब्रह्मवादिनः यज्ञस्य देवयानस्य मेध्याय अभिषेन्द्रपा. Talking Parikshit, great sages who were completely aware of the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies took charge of that Surabhi cow, which produced all the yogurt, milk, and ghee absolutely necessary for offering oblations into the fire. They did this just for the sake of pure ghee, which they wanted for performance of sacrifices to elevate themselves to the higher planetary systems up to Brahmaloka. Hmm. Dharma karma, Swargapara, meaning going towards Swarga. And other higher planets. All these karma kanda sacrifices were being performed previously. Surabhi cows are generally found on the Vaikuntha planets. As described in Brahma Samhita, Lord Krishna on his planet Goloka Vrindavan engages in tending the Surabhi cows, Surabhi Ravi Palayantam. These cows are the Lord's pet animals. From the Surabhi cows, one can take as much milk as one needs, and one may milk these cows as many times as he desires. In other words, the Surabhi cow can yield milk unlimitedly. Milk is necessary for the performance of yagna. Sages know how to use milk to elevate human society to perform to the perfection of life. Since cow protection is recommended everywhere in the Shastras, the Brahmavadis took charge of the Surabhi cow, in which the demons were not very interested. Of course, elsewhere Prabhupada says that this Surabhi, there's also Surabhi in the heavenly planets, so which are different from the Surabhi cows in Goloka. So possibly they are like Amsha or something. Just like there are Devatas who are Amshas of the eternal associates of Lord in Goloka. So like that, maybe the Surabhi cows in the higher planetary systems within this material world are possibly some. I've not read this, but I'm just speculating. Um, Possibly Amshas of these Surabhi cows that are generally found in Vaikuntha, Krishna Loka. Mm. तथा उच्चैश्रवा नाम अयोभूच्चन्द्रपाण्डुरः तस्मिन् बलिः स्पृहां चक्रे नेन्द्र ईश्वर शिक्षया. Thereafter, a horse named Uchchaishrava, which was as white as the moon, was generated. Bali Maharaj desired to possess this horse, and Indra, the king of heaven, did not protest, for he had previously been so advised by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is also important to note that Indra is following instructions. Not that he's acting whimsically, saying that, oh, I also want the horse. No. So this we have discussed multiple times that in any system as such, in any organized system, there is authority. There are authorities, and authorities have to be followed. And in Swarga, that is the difference between Devas and Danavas. Uh, the Asuras, they don't want to follow, take instructions from the Supreme Lord. And Devatas are absolutely willing to take instructions because they know that he is the one in control, he's the all powerful, whatever he says works. They understand and logically use their intelligence and follow whatever Lord Vishnu says. Why only Lord Vishnu? Even devotees of Lord Vishnu, like we know in the case of, Prahlad, Narada Muni protects his mother, and then Indra just circumambulates and just goes his way. And they understand the importance of authorities and surrendering to authority. And it's the same thing in the spiritual world. If we transcend authority, then we don't have a place in the spiritual world. And the training is being given to us in this material world, in the form of an institute like ISKCON, called ISKCON, right? Where we have authorities and we are expected to follow authorities. And then one person, we might have multiple authorities. Um, like obviously, everybody will have once initiated, they have a Diksha Guru, then they will have Shiksha Guru, then like there are authorities in the temples like temple president, etc. So all of them are authorities, and we are expected to follow, be understand, follow instructions, and not transcend authority or not reject authority. Unfortunately, most cases, issues happen because devotees don't want to accept authority, be it their own Diksha Guru, Shiksha Gurus, mm, or even like, local authorities, temple presidents, or yeah, so things like this. So we have to understand that we can't take the liberty of transcending. And unfortunately, issues happen when people consider themselves uh, peers and don't want to follow each other or don't want to follow another's instruction. And yeah, so much of confusion gets created. Um, so it's very important that, which is why, in any kind of preaching setup, there has to be clear understanding of authority. And issue happens when different people from different places come together to form some, some functioning working body. Then there won't be mutual, obviously there'll be like everybody's thinking they are peers, then now peers come together and they have to take decisions. Then it becomes a problem, right? So generally it is easier if there is one authority, one accepted authority, saying that, okay, while all of us might have different roles, but this person is the authority. And when that doesn't happen, it results in different people going in different directions, for obvious reasons, right? As in, sometimes it might just be difference in approach. Sometimes it might be difference in goals, in intentions, and then the whole thing falls apart. So it's very important, whenever we read things like this. He was just told, Supreme Lord said that don't ask for anything that comes out of the ocean if you want the nectar. So Indra said, okay, though some of these things might be interesting to possess, but he said no. Lord Vishnu has said, so I have to just follow. So it's very important. Of course, Tadvidhi Pranipadena Pariprashnena Seva. It's not like we have to blindly accept. We can always inquire submissively, in a service attitude to understand. Sometimes we won't understand instructions of superior authorities for different reasons. One is we might not have that maturity. Second, we might not really be at the level of surrender to be able to understand and accept. So we can always inquire, ask for clarification. We can, yeah. So, but yeah, it is important to accept authority. तत ऐरावतो नाम वारणेन्द्रो विनिर्गतः दन्तैश्चतुर्भिः श्वेताद्रेर्हरन् भगवतो महिम्. As the next result of the churning, the king of elephants named Airavata was generated. This elephant was white, and with its four tusks, it defied the glories of Kailasa mountain, the glorious abode of Lord Shiva. ऐरावणादयस्त्वष्टौ दिग्गजा अभवंस्ततः अभ्रमु प्रभृतयोस्तौ ष्टौ च करिण्यस्त्वभवन् नृप. Thereafter, O king, 8 great elephants which could go in any direction were generated. They were headed by Airavana. 8 she-elephants headed by Abhramu were also generated. The names of the 8 elephants were Airavana, Pundarika, Vamana, Kumuda, Anjana, Pushpadanta, Sarvabhauma, and Supratika. कौस्तुभ तौ कौस्तुभाख्यम् अभूद् रत्नम् पद्मरागो महोदधेः तस्मिन् मणौ स्पृहां चक्रे वक्षोऽलङ्करणे हरिः ततो भवत्पारिजातः सुरलोकविभूषणं पुरा पूरयत्यर्थिनो योऽर्थैः शश्वद्भुवि यथा भवान्. Generated thereafter from the great ocean were the celebrated gems Kaustubhamani and Padmaragamani. Lord Vishnu, to decorate his chest, desired to possess them. Generated next was the Parijata flower, which decorates the celestial planets. O king, as you fulfill the desires of everyone on this planet by fulfilling all ambitions, the Parijata fulfills the desires of everyone. So Parijata also fulfills desires of everyone. I don't know in what way. The Kalpa Vriksha. Hmm. ततश्चाप्सरसो जाता निष्ककण्ठ्यः सुवाससः रमण्यः स्वर्गिणां वल्गु गति लीलावलोकनैः. Next there appeared the Apsaras who were used as prostitutes on the heavenly planets. They were fully decorated with golden ornaments and lockets and were dressed in fine and attractive clothing. The Apsaras move very slowly in an attractive style and bewilders the inhabitants of the heavenly planets. So this is also one of the reasons why people want to go to heaven to enjoy with the apsaras, but they are used as prostitutes on the heavenly planets. Of course, I mean it might be a different type of prostitution as compared to what it is there here, but yeah, still some form of prostitution, and in that society it's considered low grade. ततश्चैवार्भु चाविर्अभूत् साक्षात् साक्षात् श्रीरा रमा भगवत्परा रञ्जयन्ती दिशः कान्त्या vidyutsaudamanī yatha. Then there appeared the goddess of fortune, Rama, who is absolutely dedicated to being enjoyed by the Supreme Person of Godhead. She is dedicated absolutely means without any exception, meaning only dedicated to being enjoyed by the Supreme Lord. She appeared like electricity, surpassing the lightning that might illuminate a marble mountain. Marble mountain, meaning marble is already like shining. So then, if there is lightning that might illuminate a marble mountain, it will be so bright. So she appeared like that. Shri means opulence. Krishna is the owner of all opulence. Bhoktaram Megnatapasam. This peace formula for the world is given in Bhagavad Gita. When people know that the Supreme Lord Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, the supreme proprietor, and the most intimate, well wishing friend of all living entities, peace and prosperity will ensue all over the world. No, but we forget this. Uh, Krishna consciousness is not so easy because always being conscious of Krishna is very difficult because we are generally conscious about ourselves, isn't it? We fail to be conscious of Krishna. And when we become conscious about ourselves, we forget Krishna. So we think we are the enjoyer, we are the proprietor. And yeah, no, there's nobody who is now Suradam, well wishing friend. So then we think that, okay, I have to take care of everything myself. But that is not the case. Krishna is always there and in control. So whoever recognizes Krishna as the supreme enjoyer, proprietor, and well-wishing friend, for such a person, peace is absolutely there. Prosperity also, because Krishna is the supreme proprietor. Mm. And again, like I've told this multiple times, it depends on our faith in Krishna. If we trust Krishna, that He is the supreme controller, He is the supreme enjoyer, He is the supreme proprietor. He is our best well-wishing friend, Suradam. Then we will experience peace and prosperity. But otherwise, we will be tensed. We'll be in worry. We'll feel bad. Feel sad because we are trying to enjoy independent of Krishna. We're forgetting Krishna and we are trying to enjoy. Then we have issues with people, relations, this, that, everything. So it's very important to actually always remember that Krishna is the supreme enjoyer. Krishna is the supreme proprietor. Mm. Actually, it's very interesting, you know. Mm, um, difficult, but people have money, right? So grihasthas have money. Now, even they have money and they have surplus in general, right? Like generally people have surplus, unless, for whatever, because of their karma, they have very hand to mouth kind of subsistence. Otherwise, generally grihasthas, especially people, software people, two people working, or generally is little bit wealthy kind of situation. People have excess funds, but will they use that excess funds for Krishna? No. It's very strange. Mm, Theoretically, we say that Krishna is the protector. But when it comes to serving Krishna with our whatever Lakshmi he has given us, we hesitate. Mm. So we don't really believe that Krishna is the supreme proprietor enjoyer. Somewhere we are thinking, I am the proprietor. This is mine. I need this. I have to take care of things. So that faith, it requires a lot of surrender to have that faith. To say, no, 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 I will use it for Krishna. And I'm so happy that I'm in the association of some devotees who literally for the Holy Mao temple construction, they gave whatever they had in their savings account, whatever they had. And I was, I mean, it just, I didn't have words to appreciate their surrender. There are some devotees, not that there are no devotees like that. There are some devotees who are completely surrendered, who trust Krishna and say that, no, okay, anyway, this is for Krishna. Krishna will take care of me. What if my bank balance is zero? My spiritual bank balance is not zero. So amazing faith, and we should get inspired by hearing about such devotees. Obviously, I will not take their names because they will feel embarrassed in front of everybody. But there are such people, and there are others who have money, but they're not ready to part with it for Krishna, even if it means temporarily. Not that, okay, sometimes it's not that, okay, we can give it away. Okay, fine, you can't give it away forever, but maybe you can give it for some time. Mm. Till things, financial situation eases out, etc. But that willingness is there only in very few devotees. So then obviously we are not in peace, because we are thinking that I have to take care of things, I need to do things. Mm. So then there won't be peace and prosperity. Unfortunately, the conditioned souls being placed into illusion by the external energy of the Lord want to fight with one another, and therefore peace is disturbed. This is another crazy thing which happens even in devotee society, that devotees want to fight with each other. And what kind of Vaishnava behavior is that? We can't understand. And sometimes these situations become very perplexing. And I've seen most of the times it's just perceptions. It's just perceptions, it's expectations mismatch, it's lack of communication. All these can result in confusion, right? And in such a small congregation that we have here, at least in Hulimau, we still see there are so much of misunderstanding, confusion. And what is the solution for this? Solution is just intense devotion, proper hearing, mm, being alert to what we are doing, how it is impacting others, not just being self-centered. If we simply follow the proper morning program, in course of time, our heart will become clean, and we'll stop troubling others by our behavior. But till then, it's just we don't we just not we not we just bothered about ourselves. So it's not good, and that results in fight and all these kind of things. Of course, it's hopefully it doesn't result in physical fight, but mm, words. Sometimes no words is even worse. Sometimes some devotees don't speak at all. They don't say anything. They'll be inside only, they'll be, oing, 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 they'll be like, cribbing. Or they will not tell the person who is required to be told, they will tell somebody else. So these kind of things are going to just, I mean, first thing is it will trouble them only, those devotees involved, number one. Number two, it will spoil the environment. Right. So these things have to be, so which is why regular Shravanam is important. And I'm seeing my own experiences that mostly devotees who have regular Shravanam, even if they get into trouble, they are able to understand. And their first thing is they're willing to listen, if not anything else. Now, those who don't have regular Shravanam, they don't want to hear at all from anybody. They don't want any advice. So very, very difficult when it gets into such situations. The first prerequisite for peace is that all the wealth presented by Shri, the goddess of fortune, see, be offered to the Supreme Person of Godhead. Just take. Uh, multiple times, this happens. I would have said something, and Prabhupada will be repeating the same thing. I mean, that mood, we have to imbibe that mood of Srila Prabhupada. This is what he showed this in his life by doing that, right? Everyone should give up his false proprietorship over worldly possessions and offer. See, Prabhupada is not, he is not saying offer something to Krishna. He's saying offer everything to Krishna. And he's saying this is the teaching of the Krishna consciousness movement. But doesn't look like really this is the teaching right now. Possibly it was what when Prabhupada was present. Now it's about how much ever I can give, I will give. But more importantly, I need to do for myself. Right? That's the mood. That's the mood, right? But so, without mincing words, Prabhupada is just simply saying offer everything to Krishna. Actually, if devotees, and like I keep saying, this is only for Grihasthas. If Grihasthas can do this, just imagine how nicely we can grow the preaching Krishna consciousness movement. All the time we are struggling. We have Ritvik temples, and they're growing phenomenally, right? And they have so much of money. They just left, right, and center go by sites, big build big temples, and we are here struggling. For a few lakhs here and there, we are struggling. Mm. Of course, we don't want to take the Ritvik route, right? It's very, yeah, very questionable. But from an organization like ISKCON, if it can do it like what they are doing, it definitely it makes use of people's money in the in Krishna consciousness, provided it is proper Krishna conscious activities and not like giving egg with food in the name of prasadam or the name of food distribution. But if devotees, if just Grasta devotees can dedicate everything they have for Krishna, then we can change the world. We can change the world. Mm. So this is important. I mean, these instructions are not to be heard and forgotten. Or many people don't even hear these, right? Uh, in yeah, in different another center there, there's so many devotees, software people working, but nobody is willing to give anything for running the center. And what is the reason? That they have their own responsibilities. Also, running a Krishna conscious center is not part of their responsibility, which means that they've not understood the philosophy at all. They've not read Prabhupada's books. And they don't hear regularly, which is the big problem. In the name of being busy, 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 work, 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 earn money, don't give it to Krishna. But then, okay, they're still devotees. They come chant Hare Krishna, they come to the center, etc. But that's not that's not their full responsibility. Mm. We can run so many more centers, right, across cities. If at all we can get support from local grihasthas, it's so easy and it's not even expensive. See, generally, typically one center, average center, about 70 to 1 lakh rupees, maybe a month expense, 70,000 to 1 lakh, right? And if there are like 10, 15 grihasthas who can give like 5,000 rupees a month, done. And generally, 5,000 rupees is not even like 2 to 3% of their earning. Generally, of any, especially if they're software people, it's not even 2 to 3% of their monthly earning. Most of the devotees I know, unless they're very, very young and just joined industry, easily they'll be earning 1.5 lakhs. But there has to be heart to want to give, mind to want to give to Krishna. Hmm. Yes, I want to give so that we can grow this preaching, so that we can benefit more people. And then there are other devotees who are like so selfless that again, one devotee is given, he bought an iPad for some use of himself and he just gave it to me, saying that you please use it for Krishna service. It's 1.25 lakhs, the iPad. And possibly he didn't even think for a second before he told that. I'm saying these are examples of how one can dedicate whatever is there for Krishna. Everything is for Krishna. And what does Krishna do with such devotees? He will take care of them. He will take care of them because they're so selflessly wanting to serve Krishna. Krishna will take care of them. And then there are others who are trying to take care of themselves by themselves. Now, obviously, it's going to be difficult because this material world, then we have karma phala, and we don't know what's going to happen next. We have so many challenges. But somebody who like this, out of pure heart, just does, okay, take it. Please use it. Mm. Some expense was there. Then I said, possibly I don't know if we'll be able to manage funds for this month. Some electricity issues there. It was, and the devotee just got it done, and they've not even yet told me how much the amount is. Because I said that, it might be tough this month to take care of that expense. So, I mean, and of course, for me, I don't forget any of this. I make sure that, that those devotees are given back of course, it's so many moving parts in preaching. It's not easy, but even if I cannot do anything from my side, Krishna will take care of them in his own way. Hmm. So this is very, very important. Actually, it's, how much ever we stress on this, it's less. And which is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, right? Like, use your resources for spreading the Krishna consciousness movement. What is Yare Deko Tare Kaho Krishna Upadesh means? You can't just, as Grihasthas, not everybody can go door to door and just simply tell. Even if you go, then you want to give some prasadam, you want to distribute some books, or you want to call people home, do some bhakti program, bhakti vriksha, or whatever, right? So, whatever you want to do, you need Lakshmi, and you need to use that Lakshmi in Krishna service. Mm. How much can we just keep thinking, no, no, I will hoard it, I might need it in the future. So if I give it off, then when I need it, who will give? Krishna will arrange. Krishna will arrange. We have to have faith in Krishna. Yeah, so in very interesting, important purport, right? Just 4, 5 lines, but so deep application. We have to remember. See, it's just not about, we've read this so many times, Surudam Sarvabhutanam, but to really accept that statement, it takes us lifetime. Saying that, no, no, he is the well-wisher, he is the supreme proprietor, and Prabhupada is helping us. How to understand this statement? He's saying, offer everything to Krishna. Hmm. तस्यां चक्रुस्पृहां सर्वे ससुरासुरमानवाः रूपाौदार्यवयो वर्णा महिमाक्षिप्तचेतसः. Because of her exquisite beauty, her bodily features, her youth, her complexion, and her glories, everyone, including the demigods, the demons, and the human beings, desired her. They were attracted because she is the source of all opulences, which is the only thing that people want to do in today's world. Bhoga Aishwarya Prasaktanam. They are just running behind Bhoga and Aishwarya. So Lakshmi Devi, they go behind Lakshmi. But Lakshmi goes behind Narayana. She is not going to be here, be with material people. Mm. And when a devotee surrenders fully to Krishna, it's not this Lakshmi, but the spiritual Lakshmi. And so, if there is some opulence in a devotee's life, it's directly given by Krishna, not the material form of Lakshmi. It is limited to this material world. Who in this world does not want to possess? Prabhupada is asking, who does not want to possess wealth, beauty, social responsibility that come from these opulences? People generally desire material enjoyment, material opulence, and association of aristocratic family members, Bhogeshwarya Prasaktanam. Material enjoyment entails money, beauty, and the reputation they bring, which can all be achieved by the mercy of the goddess of fortune. The goddess of fortune, however, never remains alone, as indicated in the previous verse by the word Bhagavat Para. She is the property of the Supreme Person of Godhead and is enjoyable only by Him. So we can't enjoy Lakshmi Devi. We can't enjoy Lakshmi Devi, meaning we can't take her money for our sense gratification. It is sinful because she is the Lord's wife, Lord's consort, and it is for her, His enjoyment. She is for His enjoyment. If one wants the favor of Goddess of Fortune, Mother Lakshmi, because she is by nature Bhagavat Para, one must keep her with Narayana. Devotees are who always engage in the service of Narayana, Narayana Parayana, can easily achieve the favor of Goddess of Fortune without a doubt. See, these kind of statements, no, we should, like Prabhupada could have just said, can easily achieve the favor of the Goddess of Fortune. But he's added these words without a doubt because we doubt. We doubt. We doubt what? The statement saying that one can easily achieve the favor of Goddess of Fortune. If we always engage in service of Narayana, we doubt it. So Prabhupada is saying without a doubt, don't doubt it. But materialists who try to get the favor of the Goddess of Fortune only to possess her for personal enjoyment are frustrated. So she doesn't become available. This is not a good policy. And even if she is available, she is very temporarily available. The celebrated demon Ravana, for example, wanted to deprive Ramachandra of Lakshmi, Sita, and thus be victorious. But the result was just the opposite. Sita, of course, was taken by force by Lord Ramachandra. And Ravana and his entire material empire were vanquished. The goddess of fortune is desirable for everyone, including human beings, but one should understand that the goddess of fortune is the exclusive property of the Supreme Person of Godhead. Like I said, so it's sinful to use her in our service. It's not etiquette, also, right? We want to serve Krishna, then how can we engage his wife in our service? It's ridiculous. That's why Bhagavatam says, just labho jiveta yavata, jiveta, just self preservation, that's all should be our goal. Otherwise, it's sinful. One cannot achieve the mercy of the goddess of fortune unless one prays to both to her and to the supreme enjoyer, the person of God. So please understand this. And those who are worried about wealth in their life, you don't have to be worried. We just have to serve Krishna, and then automatically with Krishna, Lakshmi will come. Radha, Lakshmi is an expansion of Radha. So when Krishna is there, Radha is there, Lakshmi is there. तस्यासनमानिन्ये महेन्द्रो महदद्भुतं मूर्तिमत्यः सरिच्छेष्टा हेमकुम्भजलं शुचि. Now there is Abhishekam of Goddess of Fortune and then her marriage. So I will read these verses. The king of heaven, Indra, brought a suitable sitting place for the goddess of fortune. All the rivers of the sacred water, such as Ganges and Yamuna, personified themselves, and each of them brought pure water in golden water pots for Mother Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune. The land became a person and collected all the drugs and herbs needed for installing the deity. The cows delivered five products, namely milk, yogurt, ghee, urine, and cow dung. And spring personified collected everything produced in spring during the months of Chaitra and Vaishakha, April, May. So this Panchagavya, the five products received from the cow, namely milk, yogurt, ghee, cow dung, and cow urine, are required in all ritualistic ceremonies performed according to Vedic directions. Cow urine and cow dung are uncontaminated, and since even the urine and dung of a cow are important, we can just imagine how important this animal is for human civilization. Therefore, the Supreme Person of Godhead Krishna directly advocates Go Raksha. Civilized men who follow the system of Varnashrama. Who follows the system of Varnashrama? Civilized men. And Vaishnavas are expected to be more than civilized. Like we understand that Vaishnavas have to be absolutely have to be Brahmanas, otherwise they can't be Vaishnavas. Similarly, Vaishnavas absolutely have to be civilized. So there should be some system of varnashrama. Especially those of the Vaishya class who engage in agriculture and trade must give protection to the cows. Unfortunately, because people in Kali Yuga are manda, all bad. Prabhupada is translating it as bad. Sumanda Mataya, misled by false conceptions. They're killing animal cows in thousands. Therefore, they're unfortunate in spiritual consciousness, and nature disturbs them in so many ways, especially through incurable diseases like cancer and through frequent wars among nations. So we can understand these kind of diseases are for meat eaters, mostly meat eaters, heavily sinful life, heavily sinful life. So they have to suffer. They have to suffer. As long as human society continues to allow cows to be regularly killed in slaughterhouses, there cannot be any question of peace and prosperity. And then there is, what is that, United Nations. Prabhupada says their only flags will only increase, but they will never going to get peace and prosperity because they're killing cows. They're killing cows. So the result is incurable diseases and war. And then pestilence and no food. These things are going to happen more and more. And who is going to get protected in all these situations? Devotees, by the mercy of Krishna. Krishna will take care of devotees. The great sages performed the bathing ceremony of the goddess of fortune as directed in the authorized scriptures. The Gandharvas chanted all auspicious Vedic mantras, and the professional women dancers very nicely danced and sang authorized songs prescribed in the Vedas. So here, professional women dancers didn't sing movie songs or dance for movie songs, right? So even though they are professional dancers, they danced and sang authorized songs prescribed in the Vedas. The clouds in personified form beat various types of drums known as mridangas, panavas, murajas, and anakas. They also blew conch shells and bugles known as gomukhas and played flutes and stringed instruments. The combined sound of these instruments were tumultuous. Thereafter, the great elephants from all directions carried big water jugs full of Ganges water and bathed the goddess of fortune to the accompaniment of Vedic mantras chanted by learned Brahmanas. While thus being bathed, the goddess of fortune maintained her original style. Original style. With a lotus flower in her hand, and she appeared very beautiful. The goddess of fortune is the most chaste, for she does not know anyone but the Supreme Person of Godhead. See, this is very, very important. Ultimate chastity is this. There might be some sense of material chastity, but that's okay. And the ultimate chastity is that one should not know anyone but the Supreme Lord. And this chastity is not just for women, this chastity is for all jivas. And goddess of fortune is not just womanly chastity, but the ultimate chastity. She follows. She's a emblem of ultimate chastity. The goddess of fortune is described in this verse as Shriyam, which means that she has six opulences. These opulences are received from the goddess of fortune. Lakshmi is addressed here as Devi, goddess, because in Vaikuntha she supplies all opulences to the Supreme Person of Godhead and his devotees. No? So she supplies opulences to the Supreme Lord, who has given her all the opulences, right? Who in this way enjoy natural life in Vaikuntha planets. So devotees enjoy natural life in Vaikuntha planets. Supreme Person of Godhead is pleased with his consort, goddess of fortune, who carries a lotus flower in her hand. Mother Lakshmi is described in this verse as Sati, supremely chaste because she never diverts her attention from the Supreme Person of Godhead to anyone else. And it must be the same thing that we should also do, is to not divert our attention here and there. Fix it on the Supreme Lord. Ekeha Kurunandana, Oshakayanantyasta, Buddhayo Avyavasayanam. Those who don't have Vyavasayatmika Buddhi, business minded focus. Vyavasaya means business. Vyavasayatmika, like business minded focus on Krishna consciousness, meaning fix our attention on Krishna and Radha and don't divert it. That is chastity. The ocean, which is the source of all valuable jewels, supplied the upper and lower portions of the yellow silken garment. The predominating deity of water, Varuna, presented flower garlands surrounded by six-legged bumblebees drunken with honey, and bathing the deity in the Abhisheka with various liquids. It's customary to supply yellow garments. In this way, Abhisheka ceremony for goddess of fortune was performed. Vishwakarma, one of the Prajapatis, supplied varieties of decorated ornaments. Goddess of learning Saraswati supplied a necklace. Lord Brahma supplied a lotus flower, and the inhabitants of Nagaloka supplied earrings. Thereafter, Mother Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, having been properly celebrated with an auspicious ritualistic ceremony, began moving about, holding in her hand a garland of lotus flowers, which were surrounded by humming bumblebees. Smiling with shyness, her cheeks decorated by her earrings, she looked extremely beautiful. And the beauty of Lakshmi is like we can say, is just a part of the beauty of Radha. So we can not imagine the beauty of Radha. The goddess of fortune, Mother Lakshmi, accepted the ocean of milk as her father, but she perpetually rests on the bosom of Narayana. She offers benedictions even to Lord Brahma and other living entities in this material world. Yet she is transcendental to all material qualities. Although she appeared to have been born on the ocean of milk, she immediately resorted to her eternal place on the bosom of Narayana. So she is looking for her husband. Her two breasts, which were symmetrical and nicely situated, were covered with sandalwood pulp and kumkuma powder, and her waist was very thin. As she walked here and there, her ankle bells jingling softly, she appeared like a creeper of gold. While walking among the Gandharvas, Yakshas, Asuras, Siddhas, Charanas, and denizens of heaven, Lakshmi Devi was scrutinizingly examining them, but she could not find anyone naturally endowed with all good qualities. None of them was devoid of faults, and therefore she could not take shelter of any of them. So she is trying to find her husband. Mm. So she was allowed to select her own husband in a Swayamvara ceremony. She examined every one of the candidates, but she could not find anyone suitably qualified. In other words, Narayana, the natural husband of Lakshmi, cannot be superseded by anyone in this material world. The goddess of fortune, examining the assembly, thought in this way: someone who has undergone great austerity has not yet conquered anger. Someone possesses knowledge but is not conquered material desires. Someone is a very great personality but he cannot conquer lusty desires. Even a great personality depends on something else. How then can he be the supreme controller? Okay, I'll discuss this tomorrow because this is very interesting statements. So we'll stop here. Yeah. So we'll stop here. Any comments? Anything?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Dandavat Pranam. So, so Prabhu, so we were discussing about mass slaughtering of cows and how that results in wars and pestilence, right?
Mm.
So even pandemics, right? So
Mhm.
I would assume the COVID could be the result of that
Yeah.
one. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, so during these times, I mean, some great Vaishnavas have also passed away. I mean, I will take the name of for example, Bhakti Swami,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I mean, see from this standpoint, I mean, we we are talking about, yeah, devotees who are in general protected, but I mean, just for our sake, or even in from mundane person's perspective, how do we interpret that, or how do we understand this?
I mean, uh, so see, the for everything there is some time, and Lord has His own plan, right? So just because it coincided with something doesn't mean, like for example, His Grace Indra Prabhu, he left his body in the middle of a car blast, cylinder
Yes.
blast. Right. So
Right.
this is just to bewilder. This is just to bewilder the non-believers. Right. And devotees should have faith, saying that in whatever situation, Krishna does things for his to just glorify his devotees. That's all. There's no
Mm.
other reason. Right? And non-believers will get, they will obviously get bewildered, right?
Yes, yes.
So we have to have faith, saying that, why even in our local congregation, one of our devotees, he left his body in a very bad accident, Anandi Jagannath Prabhu, and many people were bewildered. Many people were bewildered. Right, but I mean, it's very, very clear. Somebody who surrendered, who is like dedicated their life for serving Guru and Krishna, there can't be any inauspicious incident at all. It's just the mercy of Krishna. Krishna knows best, right? So we should just have faith in that and see any which way how one leaves the body is least material, right? Least important, right?
Mm. Mhm.
The important thing is that they are engaged in Krishna service and they'll continue to engage in Krishna service. That's all. And everybody has to go one day or the other. So it's
Okay,
fine.
so I mean, basically, it's not about how they left the body or what time they left the body. It's all about how they live their life.
Yeah. See,
The,
because at that time, their consciousness is only known to them and Krishna
mm,
and their Guru, possibly, right? So nobody else can understand. Nobody else can understand. Right. So, yeah, and which is why, what is important is not how they leave their body. What is important is how they lived their life.
mm,
Because that
yes,
leaving the body is taken care automatically in line with how they lived. We don't have to be
yes, sir.
bewildered about it, right? Because we I mean, we are not privy to what's going on, right?
Yes,
Like
it's true.
if yeah. So I mean, I'm saying somebody like, for example, my own father, right, who was not such, who didn't do any such great contribution into the movement as any of these great devotees, right? But still, Krishna gave him the mercy of leaving his body in the middle of Harinam. So, if Krishna can do that for just an ordinary, I mean, I'm saying ordinary, just because he didn't make any significant contribution to the society, right? But he perfected his own Krishna consciousness and he left his body in the middle of Harinam. And that is not possible by our endeavor.
Mm.
Which means that
Okay.
Krishna gave mercy even to him. So, why would he not give mercy to other great devotees who dedicated their lives for Krishna? Obviously he does, but we can't understand. So we just, and it's just a matter of faith, trust in Krishna.
Okay, bro. Because I mean, because I see some videos circulating around, and then they were showing how a devotee left his body in the middle of kirtan. But sometimes we try to undermine, devotees leaving their body in a plane crash or in a pandemic. So I just wanted to.
Yeah, I mean yeah, not everything can be explained, right? See,
Yes,
Krishna
yes.
consciousness is inconceivable, right? Krishna is inconceivable. Krishna's actions are inconceivable. What he does, how he does, why he does, who
Mm.
can understand? Why Prabhupada had to leave his body in that kind of a situation with so much of suspense around that and so many, and like, I mean, Krishna has his own plan. He knows what he's doing, why he's doing. We don't have the intelligence to understand. But we can understand one thing that he doesn't, he takes care of his devotees. That's all, right?
Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhu,
Yeah, Mataji.
when you're just talking about Anadi Jagannath Prabhu,
Mm,
like his death was so untimely. It was
yeah,
not a natural death, and
yeah.
it was not in the southern hemisphere. Like according to like what we know,
Mm,
like it's not the most
yeah,
ideal thing.
yeah.
But and then Guru Maharaj, said he was very perturbed by what had happened, but he said,
Mm,
Krishna, he will go back to Godhead.
yeah,
He is going back to Godhead. And I
absolutely.
see his whole family, his
Mm,
mother-in-law, his parents, his wife. I mean, they must have shed tears inside the house. But
yeah,
even today, what exemplary, I mean, she had
yeah,
just lost her son. She lost her
yeah.
grandson, son-in-law. The
Mm,
parents are almost 90.
yeah.
I see both sides of the family. Prabhu, you have to be with them to understand that even after I see Vrinda Mataji. Like,
Yeah.
she's young. And, like many times I told her, why don't you settle down, Mataji? He said, nobody can replace, and you don't know what he
Yeah.
was, Mataji.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Prabhu, we only go, we can only see the artificial
Yes.
upper layer. We
Yeah.
cannot understand what goes beneath. The pain is there, everything is there. But her belief in Guru Maharaj, that's
Yeah.
what makes her stand out, Prabhu.
No, absolutely. I mean,
And
which is why, I mean, the kind of surrender, and
yes,
I mean, we can be
it
sure, even if you're not privy to all the details, looking at how a person lived his Krishna conscious life, and how single pointed focus. Right. I mean,
absolutely,
I
Prabhu.
had the
Yeah,
opportunity to interact with him few times, but I could
like
make out saying that this person has nothing else in life.
just
There's nothing else in life. Just just few conversations. It's not even like I didn't know him so closely, but I could make out with a few conversations saying that there's nothing else for him in his life, and it was evident, obviously, like when we saw the way he left his, yeah, like you said, his wife, family. It was very very clear, right? And which is what we want to emulate. We want to live this kind of life where we don't have anything else but Krishna, because then
Prabhu.
it's guaranteed.
Yeah. Prabhu, I'll just add one thing. He
Yeah.
lived still such a simple life. When you saw him, somebody will say he's like a Sudama. Both
Yeah.
husband and wife are earning so well. He comes from an affluent house. His father's is a very good writer. His
Mhm.
his mother-in-law is, like she both were doctors. They come from a good upper class family. But
Mm.
looking at them, his life was so simple,
Yeah.
so simple. Anything you gave him to eat, also, Mataji. You know, he reminds me of, at death of Bhishma Pitama. Like the Lord
Mhm.
was there with him, even though he
Yeah,
was
yeah,
on
yeah,
arrows.
absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. There cannot be any doubt.
sorry, I'm just getting carried away because last 2 years he was helping Prabhu, and
Yeah.
the shades I've seen him deal with devotees. Like he used to tell Prabhu, "Nahi chhod dijiye," and he was strict when he had to. And many times when Prabhu didn't pick up the phone, he used to call me. Only one, Mataji. He'll go. That's all.
Mm.
Prabhu, wonderful. I miss him
Yeah.
even today.
Yeah,
Just
yeah. I mean, he's a great devotee. He's a great
I
devotee.
really miss him, Prabhu.
Yeah.
It's really shaken. I'm sorry I got carried away.
No, no, it's
Um,
okay. It's okay. It's always yeah. Always,
Let
all
him know,
time is good time to glorify great Vaishnavas. So there's
Prabhu.
nothing.
Really left a vacuum in my heart. It
Yeah,
was
yeah,
lovely to know.
yeah,
It's a
yeah,
lovely person
yeah,
to know.
yeah.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Thank you. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Then so pranam everybody.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Yeah, so we should live life like this. When we go, people should feel, that something, something meaningful. We lived a meaningful life, and we dedicated our lives to Guru and Krishna. And anyway, Anadi Prabhu is a great example. All great, all these devotees, they're all great, right? And yeah, however they live, whatever situation they live, Krishna is there.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I want to add one more point. If
Yeah.
others were in this situation, non-devotees, they would have been broken and all. But if we see Vrinda Mataji, she's still so inspired to carry this Krishna consciousness movement. She
Yeah.
takes classes, and she has the counter always on her finger. She's always chanting Harinam. So she's an inspiration to other devotees.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Okay, so we'll close here. श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, जगत गुरु शिल प्रभुपाद की जय, संवेद गौर भक्त वृंद की जय, वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय।
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु, प्रणाम प्रणाम to everyone.
Prabhu Pranam.